ShortStops here, and I'm here to bring you guys just a small video on the top 5 best shortstops in Diamond Dynasty right now. Now obviously this can definitely change, but I'm just going to do it as of right now, and hopefully that's good enough. This is my opinion, so again, if you disagree with me, basically just tell me in the comments below, say I think this guy's better, I think this guy's worse, I disagree, blah blah blah, all that fun stuff. Now, again, I'm also only doing live series, so let's just put live series on just because of the fact that I don't need to tell you guys that the top, 3 shortstops are both a 99 overall. That's just obvious. I don't need to go over that stuff. And I'd rather not just, it would be stupid. I'm trying to tell you guys, people that you can actually, also afford, basically. I'm not saying just pick, people that are, $300 worth of actual money. So, anyways, saying that, let's get right into it. Number 5 is going to be Brandon Crawford, and for the shortstop position, this guy is going to probably be your best defender. Depending on how your team is set up, he probably will be. Maybe your center fielder is better, but he's going to be your best infield defender because of the fact that, he's going to be in a ton of double plays. I think, let's see. We'll just start off with base running, just go from the right to the left. Obviously, his speed is 58 and his stealing is 11, so you're not really going to be stealing any bases with him. But he does have decent enough speed. If you get into the gap, he can easily get doubles. Then I guess we'll just talk about fielding. Fielding is obviously for Brandon Crawford. Fielding is he's probably the best fielding shortstop, I believe, in the game that is in the live series. It might be him or Andrelton Simmons. I don't really know. But he's a very good fielder. Amazing. I've used him before. Very good fielder. And his hitting stats are still very decent. He does have 74 contact against righties and 67 contact against lefties. And that 62 power against righties isn't really low. That's actually pretty decent. So, he'll get you, I don't know. He's going to hit very well for you. He has pretty good cold zone, or hot and cold zones. So, if you need a decent shortstop that's going to get the job done for you, Brandon Crawford's going to be solid. You could bat him last in your lineup, and he'll just do fine. So, again, he's coming in at number 5. Number 4 is actually going to be Francisco Lindor. No, it's not. I lied. It's actually Carlos Correa. That was my bad. I fudged up. But anyways, Carlos Correa, obviously a very good shortstop. But again, he's supposed to be your best defender. His defensive stats are, they're average. Those are pretty decent. And those are acceptable for it's decent. His hitting stats are okay. Contact-wise, Brandon Crawford's a better contact hitter. But obviously, Carlos Correa is a better power hitter. Other than that, though, his power isn't anything special. It's in the 70s, just ignoring the insider edge bonus rating. He does have enough speed to steal, so that is an advantage of having him, is he can get on base and steal. But the problem is that his contact is relatively low. I don't know about low, but for an 89 overall, it's not really that high. And he's not going to get, singles too often. He's probably going to get doubles in the gap, or he's probably going to get a home run, or he's probably going to get out. He's not really going to get too many singles, I don't think. And that'll eliminate him from stealing second base too often. So, I think definitely a very good card, and looks like he's a very fun card to play with. But I just don't see him being too much better than 4th on this list. Number 3. Now this one's hard. I'm actually putting Corey Seager at number 3. And the reason I'm doing that is because of the fact that we'll just go with base running first again. He can steal, but again, it's going to have to be on one of those situations where you can only steal on off-speed pitches, and you have to hope that the pitcher doesn't slide step, and everything has to kind of go perfect for you if you want to steal with him. I mean, he'll easily get, if there's a gapper, he'll get you to second base. He'll get to second base. He might even get a triple every now and again. His fielding stats, 69 reaction, really isn't that great. That's definitely below average. Definitely not that great. His fielding and other stats are average. Those aren't too bad. But the reason that he's here at number 3 is because of the fact that his hitting stats are overall amazing. I mean, that's basically, let's just say 80 at everything, because he's just, it's just really solid to have. And, having another hitter in your lineup that's just solid and, very good hitter. And granted, he's not the best defender, but he's an average defender, and he'll definitely make most of the plays for you. So, I think that's the reason why I'm putting him at number 3. That's because he isn't the best defender, but he's an amazing hitter, and he might be able to make up for it. And again, ignoring the insider edge. The vision and discipline aren't that great, but he's still, if you make contact, he's gonna hit the ball. Other than that, that's basically Corey Seager right there. My number 2 is actually Francisco Lindor, and I'm sure a lot of you guys are relatively confused about this, and I'm sort of confused about it too. But when I'm looking at them, I just felt that as if Francisco Lindor would be a better option. And I'm sure this doesn't make too much sense, but the reason I'm actually having him here is because of the fact that his fielding and reaction time are a lot better. As a shortstop, you're going to need to be running into the hole a lot more. You're going to be actually needing to get to those balls. It's going to be a lot harder for, for people like Corey Seager, whose reaction time is like 69, I believe. It's going to be harder for him to actually get to a ton of the ground balls that are in the gap. But with Francisco Lindor, he'll be able to get to a lot more things. His arm strength isn't great, but again, it'll get the job done. And the fact that he has 80 speed means he's going to be quick to the balls. He's going to be very fast to the balls, which means he'll have, the arm strength isn't, still important, but the fact that his 80 speed also helps him get to the ball. It'll help him quickly get the ball to first, just faster in general. Let's see here. His contact. The hitting stats is where it's kind of a little annoying, but he does have solid contact, so he's going to be getting a ton of hits. And he has 73 vision, which is pretty good. So he'll definitely be getting a ton of singles for you. Not too many doubles, that doesn't look like. But he has 80 speed, so if you get him on base, he could easily get the second, no problem. So, again, his stats don't look as pretty, but I think he would play a lot better than his stats would say because of the fact that his contact is so... it's pretty good contact, good vision. He's going to make a ton of, hits. And then you can use his speed to advance on the bases. And I think his fielding stats definitely help him out. His 84 fielding will make it so he doesn't really, mess up, fielding the ball, obviously. And the fact that his arm strength and arm accuracy are at least decent enough to, throw people out. His reaction time will help getting him to the ball quicker, which will, in time, help him get the ball at first quicker. And I think overall this is probably one of the, better shortstops. The one thing I would tell him to work on is either contact or arm strength or arm accuracy. Either one of those, and he would be a lot better. Those are really the only improvements I would make to him. So anyways, he would be coming in at number 2. And I bet that's a surprise. I'm sure a lot of people are like, oh, Corey Seager's probably the more obvious one. But the fielding stats just aren't there for him, especially his reaction. If his reaction was better, I could say, yeah, he would, he could definitely make it. But the problem is you want your shortstop to be your best fielder. You don't necessarily need him to be a good hitter. And I hope you guys can appreciate that and understand that. And obviously, number 1 is going to be Xander Bogaerts for right now. His contact is amazing, basically above 90. His power is decent enough to, get you a ton of hits. I started at the contact, but that's fine. His vision 76, so that's pretty good. The fielding stats are decent. He has 82 fielding, so he's gonna, he's not gonna really bobble any balls for you. 80 arm strength does help. His reaction time isn't great, but his arm strength will help out with getting the ball to first as quickly as possible. And another thing that actually helps is his speed and stealing. They're both at 65 basically. So he will be stealing bases for you. He can get on first, and if he gets a good jump, he could easily make it to second base. And he's going to make every throw for you. I mean, the 72 arm accuracy, I guess, isn't great. But at the same time, a lot of these guys don't have great arm accuracy, besides Brandon Crawford, obviously, but that's his thing. All these guys have low arm accuracy for shortstops, I think, so, you know, that's still decent. And, I mean, overall, he's just a solid hitter, and his fielding stats are pretty good, too, and his base running stats are also pretty good. So I think, all in all, he is the best shortstop. Granted, he does have things to work on, like arm accuracy would definitely be something to work on. Speed could be higher, which would definitely help. But his power doesn't need to get much higher because of the fact that you don't need to have a great power hitter at the shortstop position. You don't need to, but it would be nice. I'm going to show you guys now my shortstop, and I probably should actually be doing that with all of these positions. But I think I kind of screwed that up. And I'm sure you guys are going to, before you see him, you're going to be like, well, that sounds a little hypocritical. And that could be true. So we'll start off with the hitting stats, which you guys are like, well, wait a second. Don't you say have have high contact and low power? And that is true. But one of the things I saw with him is his 89 vision, which will definitely help with contact. Ernie Banks is the reward for doing the 700 innings with the Cubs and then feeding the players into your My Person to get your My Player better, and you can get Ernie Banks. The reason I have him is because if you look at my lineup, I needed some extra power. Starling Marte, not really a good power hitter. Ichiro, I don't need to go over his stats. He's not a good power hitter. Eric Hosmer's a decent power hitter against righties. Cespedes is there for power. But then my next best power guy is Ernie Banks. And besides him, that's my guy. He's at 70 power, so he's not that great. Robinson Cano is basically like a Eric Hosmer in the same situation where it's good against righties but not that great against lefties, power-wise. And then Adrian Beltre, for some reason, simply just doesn't actually want to hit the ball too often. He's been getting so unlucky with me lately, but that's why he's batting last. So the reason I'm having Ernie Banks here is because I did need a little bit more pop in my lineup. The problem with me online is that I do hold a lot of people to a low amount of runs, but normally I only score like 4 or 5 runs myself, so it's kind of hard for me to score runs, and I figured if I got, Ernie Banks, I could easily get, maybe another home run, and he's been doing clutch for me. We'll look at his stats first. 68 contact, not great, but the 88 power, 87 power really helps out a lot. Not just home runs, but I'm also talking about doubles in the gap. His 89 vision is great. It takes up the entire strike zone. The 93 clutch is amazing. So, I mean, if he gets up in late game situations, you better expect to hit. His fielding stats is what really got me. I would not be using this card if his fielding stats was like Corey Seager. I would not be using this card. But he had higher, he had 82 arm accuracy, or 83 arm accuracy, 82 arm strength, 83 fielding. The 76 reaction's a little low, but I think I can live with that. The 60 speed is pretty fun, pretty decent. He has gotten some triples from me, I believe, and 34 stealing is definitely nice. Can steal bases with him. But again, his fielding is really what got me too. He's this very good fielder and a power-hitting shortstop. So I would suggest getting Ernie Banks. I was playing with Ozzie Smith, but again, he wasn't hitting the ball really at all. He just wasn't hitting. And I knew that going in. I was like, oh, well, that's obvious. He's not going to hit. What I meant by not hitting is he just wasn't hitting at all. And his speed is very nice, but I think Ernie Banks is a little bit better. And he was making errors for me. That was the thing I didn't understand about this card. It actually would be making a ton of errors. I'm not just talking, he'd be throwing errors, he would botch a ball, go right between his legs. I mean, there was a moment where it went right between his legs, and I just said, why would I actually use this card when he doesn't actually, field properly? So I stopped using him. His speed is amazing. It's a good card. It's just the fact that he kept screwing up. So I'm going to go to just stats right now, just to kind of show you guys what Ernie Banks has done for me, and just to hopefully you guys understand that he's not just a home run hitter. I have to go all the way down to Ernie Banks, which probably isn't too high in this list, or even on my list. What the fuck? What? I don't even. He's not even a shortstop. Alright, so apparently he's not even on my list. How do I sort? Okay. I'll sort by hits. Maybe I'll... Are you shitting me? Alright. I mean, I have only played a couple games with him, so I guess I can't be like... Okay, here are his stats. I've only played a couple games with him. I've played 10. And in 10 games, he's had 28 at-bats. He's batting 500 for me. He has 14 hits and 28 at-bats. So, I mean, a very good contact hitter for me. Let's see. Anything else? 7 doubles. He has a triple for me. 0 home runs, which is actually very surprising. But he doesn't hit actually a lot of home runs. I mean, that's because I play on Forbes Field, which is literally like a 400-foot fence all around. 9 RBIs, so again, very solid. 0 strikeouts. I don't strike out that much, just in general. I don't think anyone really does. 1 walk, that's... I mean, he has 0 errors, so... I'm trying to think of who... Where's Ozzie Smith, actually? Is he actually... He's not even here, is he? Alright, I'm done screwing around. I'm sorry, guys. Anyways, he is my... Well, I would suggest him over everybody else. I did use Xander Bogaerts for a little bit, but the reason I stopped using him was because he turned diamond, so I sold him. I made money from him. I sold him for like 15, and then I was able to basically get Ernie Banks for like less than 1,000 or whatever. So, anyways, that's going to be, I mean, my top 5. If you want to go over Troy Tulowitzki, let's freaking do it. It's annoying. His 57 contact against righties is really what gets me. I just feel like this card would be too annoying. Plus, he's more expensive than Corey. Well, they're the same money, but Corey Seager is just better than Troy Tulowitzki. Granted, Troy Tulowitzki is definitely a very solid fielder, and I love that about him. And he has decent base running, but not even decent. I wouldn't even say decent. He has 54 speed and 3 stealing. He's not going to steal. Good fielder. Not as good of a hitter. Not as good of a hitter. Not going to really put him up there. Hamilton Simmons, solid hitter. Very amazing fielder. Not much speed. But again, I think there's better options than him, at least hitting-wise. Jonathan VR, you could... No. Terrible fielder. Terrible fielder. Jose Iglesias, you could actually make the argument for. Not as much contact, but definitely a better fielder and good speed. Jose Reyes, I just wouldn't use him in general. I don't like him. Low arm accuracy, 58. Gonna make a ton of errors. Probably same thing here. 48 arm accuracy, ton of errors, ton of overthrows. Not about that life. Decent. Trevor Story, I guess you could use. He has a high amount of power. Decent arms accuracy. Low arm strength, so... DD Gregorius. Alright, but that's about it, guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm going to do another one, relatively soon. Hopefully you guys got a good idea of who your shortstop should be after this video, after my analysis of everybody. Hopefully you enjoy it. Hopefully this helps you. I'm going to be doing... left fielders next, and hopefully you enjoy this, so I guess I will just see you guys in the next video.